Okay, let's talk about the eyebrows. Eyebrows, as I mentioned in the drawings on the whiteboard, they kind of determine the attitude of what your mask is going to be doing, or what your mask believes it is. Okay, now in our skeleton here, he doesn't have much of a brow here, but we're going to add these little eyebrows like that so that you can see, like on mine, okay, they're a little bit dark because of the hair that creates my eyebrow. Okay, but the other thing is that there is a little bit of extra tissue there that's going to create that kind of bulging thing. Now, if you've seen other guys that have more of a pronounced brow, that's, very typical. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, it just so happens that different people have different looks. Now, your brow, believe it or not, follows kind of the contour of where your nose finishes, and then your brow picks up right above the eye. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and roll out a couple of coils, or a long coil, and then I'm going to cut it in half. So I've got roughly the right size. Probably about there, that should be about good. Okay, and then whatever brow that I attach here, that's going to help determine, the attitude of what my mask is going to take on. Okay, now, probably the most important thing when it comes to brows, do not leave the brows like this. Okay, I cannot stress that enough. Do not put brows like this. If I see these, I will take 10 points off of your grade, because this is not realistic. You do not have giant caterpillars or spaghetti noodles on your forehead. They do not exist. Okay, so please do not leave them like that. All right, we are going to go ahead and score and slip. Okay, now like I said, if you want this guy to be, or this character that you're creating, if you want them to be a little bit more angry, then angle them a little bit more. If you want them to be a little bit more inquisitive or something like that, you just have to adjust them accordingly. Now, it may seem weird, but believe it or not, the best way to do that is to make the face that you're thinking of and look in the mirror. Okay, that way you can see exactly where those eyebrows are supposed to go, and it's not going to be as big of a change or difference that you would think. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind, but that's going to be your best bet. All right, so I've placed those on there. I'm going to take the tongue depressor this time, okay, and I'm going to smooth both sides in. Now I'm following the contour and the shape of that orbital socket that I created before on the inside part of this. Okay, just like so. So that way I've got a nice smooth transition from my eyeball into the eye socket and then up into the brow. Now, this is where a little bit of water will help you, okay? That transition from where the brow ends in the middle and where the nose piece, or the nose bridge, begins should be fairly fluid and transitional, nice and clean and smooth, okay? Same thing with the outer edge of the brow. That transition from the outer edge of the brow there to the side of the face, that should be very smooth as well. Okay, again, it should look like it was never more than one piece of clay, all right? Now, we're still not there, okay? I still got these big bumps on the top here. We're gonna go ahead and smooth the top part, okay, the other half down into the top of the forehead, okay? So just like that, you can actually see the tool marks where I've pressed that in there. Okay, a little bit more water. Again, I'm just dipping my finger in. I'm not adding a lot of water. This is just to kind of help it smooth and make that transition nice and clean, because this, we're technically just making the bone structure, okay, and then that soft tissue where your brow is growing out of, to make sure that that gives us a little bit more realistic look than those big caterpillars or giant, noodles or earthworms that were attached to the top there. So we want to make sure that that is a nice smooth transition again, okay? I cannot stress it enough. You do not see tool marks. You do not see pieces attached to the person sitting across from you. You do not see faces with big old chunky things sticking out of them. That doesn't exist because it grew out of one piece. You were formed, okay, in your mother's womb, okay, to be realistic, and everything was smooth, and the transition between those places is perfectly clean and smooth and that sort of thing, okay? So again, okay, you can see how that's starting to take shape. Now this one comes out a little bit further. This one I think I need to add a little bit too. And if that's the case, then fine. I can go ahead and add stuff to it. Again, the beauty of clay is that I can always just go ahead and add stuff in. If I don't like something or something's not exactly right, okay, who's to say that I don't add something in there, okay? So I'm just gonna build up a little bit of extra clay there because that has a little bit better transition than what I had before. Didn't have to score and slip because I'm smoothing this all completely in. Okay, so now when I look at that, it needs to come out a little bit wider, I think. There we go. Now we're starting to get something a little bit more realistic. All right, so from here, we're gonna go ahead and start attaching the lips to create the mouth, okay? Just like that.